Maureen, it looks like bad record keeping may be to blame. That's what defense officials are telling me right now. The other part of this, we know that part of the problem came to light when a woman came here to Arlington Cemetery to honor her husband. She thought she was coming to her husband's grave. It's considered the highest honor for a veteran to be buried at Arlington National Cemetery among men and women who gave their life for their country.
It sounds terrible.
But hundreds of our nation's fallen service members are unaccounted for. 211 graves are misidentified or misplaced. Army officials say they can't be sure just who is buried in some of the graves.
It's disgraceful to think that our nation's soldiers are being moved without the knowledge.
It wasn't until a woman visiting her husband's grave noticed something wasn't right. She said someone else's headstone was placed on her husband's grave. Turns out cremated remains were buried at a gravesite already in use.
This should not be going on. They should have been more, observant of how things are handled. I mean, that's Arlington Cemetery, for crying out loud.
Records of grave sites are still kept in paper files, not on a computer. In some cases, they say a grave marker wasn't placed soon enough after burial or records weren't kept updated, leading to the mystery of who is actually buried in many grave sites. Defense officials say problems with management are also to blame. The Army forced out the cemetery's 2 civilian leaders and appointed a new chief.
This sort of thing shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have never happened. It should never happen again.
Those 2 top civilian leaders here at Arlington Cemetery are now officially out. They've been pushed out by defense officials. A new position has been created here to oversee what goes on here at Arlington Cemetery. I also want to mention what the former top superintendent, had to say today to a military newspaper. When asked about what was going on here, the charges against him, he said, mistakes are made. Live from Arlington Cemetery, Natasha Barrett, ABC 7 News.
Leon, well, this is why people aren't happy. Take a look over here. Underneath all this snow, it looks like a mound of snow, right? Well, there's an SUV parked here. We're on 37th Street Northwest over in Glover Park. Coming further down here, yet another one just covered by snow and ice. I think it's been here since probably Saturday. Neighbors have complained nothing's been done. You can see 37th Street still pretty clear. Cars can get through, but take a look at this. What I'm about to show you, this is why people are upset. Pick any side street in Glover Park, you'll find them. People not just frustrated, they're angry.
The plow comes through here, okay? He gets stuck right here. I said, where the hell are you going? He blocked me off again.
Jim Matagas' car has been stuck in the snow for days. It took several digs and injuries to get out.
I am blistered all over.
Neighbors say a snowplow drove through Hudacoper Street Northwest, but that was it.
I just saw a plow run through, but actually right before you guys came, and I don't know, he wasn't even down, he didn't even touch anything.
This is the second time Alyssa Martin dug her car out. Down the street, a carpet cleaning business brought fans to dry out a flooded floor from a roof leak.
This stuff is going to melt, it has to go somewhere.
It has to go somewhere. 1996 was my busiest year ever.
This might top.
And nothing, not even snow, will stop a balloon delivery. These men decided to do the heavy lifting all by themselves.
How sore are you at this point?
I don't know, I could use a back rub for sure.
I think everyone's looking for a massage at this point. Everybody's waking up sore. You're taking a look at more cars snowed in here on 37th Street Northwest. I talked to D.C. city officials. This is what they had to say. They say, they just don't have a lot of manpower to go around. This is a big city. It's a big problem. They're trying their best. But here's the other thing. There's all this snow. If you pick it up, where are you going to put it? Live from Northwest D.C., Natasha Barrett, ABC 7 News.
Thanks, Natasha.
Carolina, a local pastor in D.C. says he just wants to help people, but he says he's being punished by the city with a rarely used law. It used to be an apartment complex until a fire gutted this Southeast D.C. building on Alabama Avenue. Now it's supposed to become an outreach center for people living with HIV in D.C.
Seems like a good thing, something that would definitely help people out in this area.
Then this bill came from D.C.'s tax office, more than $149,000
for property taxes.
Just outrageous. I mean, just shocked, surprised.
The New Macedonia Baptist Church owns the property, but its pastor says he's still raising money to open the outreach center and can't pay the tax. Churches are exempt from paying property taxes, but D.C.'s Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs says since the building is empty, it gets charged. $149,000 was due Wednesday. The church just bought the building for $600,000 in February, but because the tax bill isn't paid, the city of D.C. won't do business with the church.
If I had the revenues and the resources, which we want to begin renovating it, I can't.
So you're kind of stuck.
Exactly.
The pastor says he applied for an exemption and the city inspected the building, but he says he's still getting the runaround from D.C. city officials.
How could this possibly be?
I really think that they should get some type of help.
The phone with the deputy director of the DCRA. After we asked him several questions about this, he says he'll give the church the exemption it wants. In other words, the church should not have to pay that $149,000. Report ABC 7 News. Hey, Leon, we'll talk about being at the right place at the right time. This baby boy was supposed to be born on Monday, but apparently he had other plans. Instead, this boy came out into the world right here in this driveway of the fire station at 3 a.m. this morning.
Right when I went to get in the car, actually, my water broke.
The Presleys from Montgomery Village were driving to the hospital early this morning. Then they had to make a quick detour.
And I knew that we weren't going to make it because I could feel that I had to push. I said, this baby's coming now. We need to pull over.
Turns out the Gaithersburg Volunteer Fire Department was at the corner. Christian Presley says he parked the car, rang the doorbell, but nobody answered, so he called 911.
She was the one that stayed calm and said, let's pull into the fire department here, because I was like, are you serious? We don't have the baby here in a parking lot?
I'm thinking this is not how it's supposed to happen. I mean, like, you see sitcoms, and that's what happens in sitcoms, but anyone who has kids go, that's not really how you have a baby.
Firefighter Michael Skidmore woke up and delivered the baby.
I'm thinking, okay, do I have to do it right here? But unfortunately, we do, so that's the nature of our business.
But the best part of the day may have been when the Presleys' other 3 kids, ages 7, 4, and 2, met their baby brother for the very first time.
Look at your baby brother. Hey, JC, look. A baby. A baby.
It was such a good moment to be a part of. Baby boy, mom, all okay. Parents tonight are still working on the perfect name for that baby boy. Live from Gaithersburg, Natasha Barrett, ABC 7 News.
Maureen, everybody's talking about this guy Strasburg, even members of Congress today on Capitol Hill, and it seems everybody's trying to cash in on this guy. You won't believe what people are willing to pay. 4 years at $15.1 million. Steven Strasburg is doing well, but all the buzz surrounding this powerful rookie might soon pay for itself.
I've seen tickets are going for a couple hundred, some of them 1,000 maybe.
Game tickets are selling like never before. Strasburg brought 24,000 more fans to the game last night. The average price of a ticket is about $30, and according to the team marketing report, that's more than $735,000 in additional revenue, not to mention parking costs. And more people riding Metro means more money. And the city of D.C. gets a big allowance from the 10% in taxes.
It's exciting. It's new. It's something we haven't had here in a while.
Until he proves himself over a season or a couple starts, I don't think it really matters.
Strasburg just got another honor through food. Several restaurants came up with their own version of the Strasburger, like here at Capitol Hill's Tortilla Coast. It's 2 Chipotle honey glazed burgers, jack cheese, and fried onions for $11.37. Yep, number 37.
When they first drafted Steven Strasburg, we knew that it was going to be big, so we were kind of building up to it, and we've been thinking about it for a long time, and we finally got to put it into the mix yesterday.
Oh, and the Nats team signed baseball is on the auction block. It's already going for more than $1,400, and there's still 2 days left in the online auction. Plus, real estate near Nats Park might ignite again. New condo buildings that have been empty are generating more interest.
That's phenomenal. I mean, it's good. I think it's a good thing for the city and for the team.
I have to say, that Strasburger, pretty good. Had it for lunch today. I also want to mention even teams on the road are hoping to benefit from Strasburg's magic. The Cleveland Indians, one of the teams that has the worst attendance in the league, is hoping that this magic will come home to them. Live from Nats Park, Natasha Barrett, ABC 7 News. This is such a neat man, guys. I'm so glad I had the pleasure meeting him today. You know, Mr. Towery has worked for Fairfax County since he was 16 years old. That's when he was hired as a school bus driver, and since then he's had such a great career. And take a look over here. This is what students did over for him on this gate near the school. They spelled out, "We love you, Mr. Towery."
Been asked if I was alive in the 1700s.
That might be because George Towery has been the principal at Cameron Elementary School in Alexandria longer than some of the teachers have been alive. 3 decades and 45 years in Fairfax County Public Schools.
It's a wonderful life. It's the best job that anybody could ever have or anybody could ever do.
Towery's 4 children walk these same hallways, including a student he adopted. And Tiffany Reed went to school in this very classroom and returned here to teach. Her mother went to Cameron, and now so do her kids. Did you come back because of him?
I only came back because of him, yes. I said I would not teach when I got my teaching degree. I would not teach at any other school.
At today's Spirit Assembly, 66-year-old Mr. Towery was the man of the hour. Some students begged him to stay just 1 more year until they move on to middle school.
We have students that come back every day that come back to see him. Students that are adults now that have families of their own, they always come back to see Mr. Towery.
Looking back from the 80s, the 90s, and now, the biggest change?
I remember when we got our first computer here, this is true, and it came in this great big wooden box that was all fancy, and it was in the office, and everybody that came in, we said, look what we've got.
And like every day, when the bell rings, Mr. Towery takes his usual spot outside.
Helena, Yusuf! Bye, honey.
I asked Mr. Towery, so what are you going to do now? His last day here at the school is next Thursday. He said he knew what he had to do. He said, I'm going to walk my dog during the day, hit the pool, and maybe write a book about himself. I bet he has a lot of stories to tell. Live from Alexandria, Natasha Barrett, ABC 7 News.